Hello everyone, Leon Thomas here. It is the end of the year. It is the finale of 2015. We're all ready to celebrate New Year's Eve and everything like that. But before we do, we need to talk about the best movies of the year. And by best, I just mean my favorite ones. The ones I like the most, personally. Your list will be completely different. And that is fine. You don't have to say, hey, you forgot about such and such in the comments. I didn't forget. I just didn't see it, or I didn't like it as much as you did. I saw a lot of movies this year, even more than usual, but I can't see them all, and I can't like them all. And, well, maybe I can like a lot of them, but not love enough of them to put them on the list. So here we go. Get ready. Number 10, White God. This is an excellent, frightening film, and the premise makes you think it's going to be ridiculous and goofy and Rise of the Planet of the Dogs or something. I believe that was how a lot of people talked about it when it was announced. But basically, it's the story of a dog who goes missing because of an abusive owner and a lovely young girl who wants to take care of it. And the dog comes in contact with other dogs, and they basically rebel against humanity. It sounds preposterous, and it is, narratively, but in terms of what it is trying to say about humanity and how we treat each other and how we treat people or creatures if we think we can take advantage of them, that's what the movie's core is, and I really enjoyed it. It's really engrossing, really engaging, and I definitely recommend checking it out. Magic Mike XXL. Yeah, I said it would be a favorite, not best. It's just a lot of fun, and I went in having seen Magic Mike before the first one, and thought, oh, well, this will be cool. A nice little surprisingly serious movie about strippers. Male entertainers. But no, Magic Mike XXL is like the promise of the trailer for Magic Mike 1. You saw the trailer for Magic Mike 1, or the promotional materials for it, and you said, oh, this is going to be like a silly movie about strippers, and it'll be like showgirls, but with dudes. It'll be funny, and no, Magic Mike 1 is surprisingly serious. Magic Mike XXL, the sequel, is the promise of the first trailer. It's just goofy and silly and fun, and there is a heart to it, absolutely, but mostly it's just a ride, and I enjoyed every second of it. Slow West. Not a lot of talk about this one, but I guess it's just going to be one of those underrated gems that people will discover later on, and it'll get its credit. And I think it will, because out of everything I've seen this year, it is among the most visually striking. It is just a beautiful film. It is a painting. It is absolutely beautiful. And more as I grow, I'm learning that the visuals in film are what makes it a film. And here's what I mean by that. A film has many different aspects to it. It has a story, it has sound and music, and it has moving pictures, obviously, because that's what makes it a motion picture, not those other things. Because a novel can have a story, a song can have music, and those things are important to a motion picture, but what makes it the movie are the visuals. And I'm just growing more and more appreciative of great cinematography as I mature, and this movie just has striking cinematography. It's beautiful. I mean, the acting is good, and the story is cool, and it's very engaging in that way, but it's beautiful. I really recommend checking it out to see what I mean by its beauty. It's just, the colors, everything is just, it just grabs you by your eyes. It's amazing. Sicario. It's just intense. Like, right away, it's intense. It grabs you right in the beginning during the sort of, like, prologue scene that only has a little to do with the rest of the plot. And it just never lets go. Even the down moments where we're learning exposition and things like that still feel thrilling somehow. It's an excellent, excellent picture. It follows. I've talked about this in an episode, so I'm very sorry. Forgive me if I repeat myself at all. This, I would say, is definitely the best horror film of the year. There were a lot of good horror movies this year, but It Follows is just like a cut above. Not only is it terrifying, and it is, but there's a lot to unpack. There's a lot going on beneath the surface of the film. It's not just about a sex monster. There's more going on there. Kumiko the Treasure Hunter. For a little while, I was thinking this might be one of my top movies of the year, like 1, 2, or 3. Only because of certain releases in November and December did it get knocked down a bit. But that's how highly I regard this movie. This movie deals with loneliness in a way that's just, it's heartbreaking, but it doesn't feel manipulative. It earns those feels. It's just a wonderful picture. A little terrifying how much I related to the protagonist, who is basically hopeless in a lot of ways. That's a tough feeling to take in when you watch this movie, but I would recommend seeing this. Just, bring the Kleenex. Macbeth. I just watched this a few days ago, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to process it in my mind, but I love it so much that I'm putting it as number 4. I talked earlier about how important visuals are to the film, because that's what makes it the film. The moving pictures are what makes it a motion picture. And the visuals in this, they're just haunting. They're amazing. The colors, the lighting, everything. I talked earlier while I was doing Kurosawa month, and I talked about Ron, that if you're going to do a Shakespeare adaptation, you've got to do something special, because these stories have been told so many times. I think the visuals are what sets this apart from a lot of other Shakespearean films. It's reminiscent of the atmospheric tone in Orson Welles' adaptation of Macbeth, although with some noticeable differences, and not just because it's in color. Mad Max Fury Road. Hey, here's a little-known movie I should recommend on this video. Look, you've probably seen it. You may have seen it more than once. And I've already done a video about it, so I'm not sure what else I can say at this point. It's just an incredible action film, and I am heartened by the fact that it is getting awards season recognition. The Revenant. I could not take my eyes off the screen the entire time. Like, I was afraid to blink. That's how stunning everything looked. That's how stunning everything felt. The performances were amazing. It's this really visceral experience watching it. The way it's been released thus far, it hasn't been this big wide release, so I don't know what everyone else thinks of it just yet, but it's amazing. It's surprisingly graphic, and it's one of the best films of the year. Before I get into number 1, I want to talk about some honorable mentions, just because I feel like I'm leaving so much out. There have been so many great movies this year. One is called The Final Girls, and it is a horror comedy. Here's the thing about horror comedies and self-aware horror. Horror comedies come along from time to time. A lot of them are forgettable, and sometimes they just work. This one works. It is very funny. The other thing about self-referential horror, self-aware horror, it's existed before Scream, but that sort of popularized it. And maybe we should be tired of deconstructing this genre, usually in a winking kind of way, but this just handles it better than almost anything else out there. and it is also shockingly touching. Ex Machina. One of the best science fiction films of the past few years. It tries to be hard sci-fi, which I certainly appreciate. Really strong mystery all the way through. I loved it. I actually love it more as I think about it. Like, when I watched it, I was like, yeah, that was good. But then I thought about it more over the course of a few months, and I'm like, yeah, that was even better than I thought. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. I love the Mission Impossible films, except 2. And they're just exciting thrillers. They're like great spy movies, and this one was really good. I don't know what else to say about it. It's just, it's an exciting thriller. I really want everyone to see this. I really want everyone to get into the series as much as I do. A lot of it's stupid. My favorite film, this isn't a huge surprise, it's Star Wars The Force Awakens. I should explain. Because you're already, I mean, it's only been out for like a week or two. And you might already be tired of all the think pieces and arguing and gushing and all the fan art about this thing. So maybe you don't want to hear another guy talk about how much he loved it. But it's my video, and I'm gonna. Alright? So here goes. Star Wars The Force Awakens isn't the best film of the year. In a lot of ways, there are a bunch that are, like, objectively, maybe technically better on some levels. But if art is about affecting emotion, or making you think, or affecting you in some way, then Star Wars The Force Awakens has to be my number one film of the year, for me personally, just for me. Because I cried a lot while I watched it, you know? It got me. It got me right here, and I mean, as soon as the music started, I just promptly lost my shit, and I could not find it for the rest of the film. I was just a mess the whole time. Every time we saw a classic character reappear, every great moment, every tragic moment, when one of the characters says, "May the Force be with you," even that, just, I lost it, like, the whole way through. And you might think, stupid Star Wars fan getting teary-eyed about stupid sci-fi space opera bullcrap, shut up. That's fine. But this is the film that just destroyed me while I was watching it. And that means it has to be my number one. I can't, like, sit here and, like, calculate, like, oh, well, the lighting was better in this movie or something, you know, in some sort of mathematical terms. This is just, what are my favorite movies of the year? These are my favorite movies of the year. And that has to be my favorite, because no movie wrecked me like Star Wars The Force Awakens. And that's it. That is what I have to say. If you disagree with my picks, like you think, you know, Sicario sucked, or or White God wasn't as good as everyone said, or whatever, you know, just say in the comments. Don't be a jerk, but feel free to debate all of this. That's fine. And please tell me what your favorite films of the year were. You know, let's talk about it. That's all I have to say. I'll see you soon.